Drivers, start your engines!
It's MRN Motorsports Monday, the place for the latest news and loudest opinions, direct from the guys at the track. Presented by Outback Steakhouse. This program is rated VNGSN and may contain scenes of verbal nonsense and graphic shenanigans. Viewer discretion is advised.
Sure, my baloney has a first name.
Today's episode is brought to you by Hercules Tires.
Paint car is on.
Now, here are your hosts, Tony Rizzuti and Joey Meier.
I forgot I was Joey. I'm Spotter. Sorry.
Welcome to a special hardware edition of Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse and Hercules Tires. Along with two-spotter Joey Meier, I'm Tony Rizzuti. Glad to have you on the program. Woody Kane working his way back from Atlanta. And Joey, you brought show and tell. I love it when you bring show and tell.
Show and tell was a great opportunity from Atlanta Motor Speedway. They gave all the crew guys trophies, a nice tribute out to the Folds of Honor, and we brought the actual real one behind us. You see the actual real trophy here, which is really cool. A great day for Brad Keselowski, Team Penske, and the Auto Trader guys. We had a huge crowd turnout. Ed Clark should be very, very happy, and we'll talk about this Cup race in a little bit.
Yeah, so much to talk about there, but first we want to talk a little bit about the Xfinity race from Saturday and bring in our special guest today. He is the driver of number 7 Brandt Chevrolet. He is Justin Allgaier. Justin, how are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm not quite as good as Joey's doing this morning.
Yeah, Joey's showing off a little bit today, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, it's terrible. I would be disappointed too. You know, I'm good. You know, we've had a rough couple of weeks, to say the least, to kick off the 2017 season, but just glad that we're back racing. I think that's probably the best part. You know, watching the Cup race yesterday, watching the Truck Series race Saturday night, watching what I could see of our race. I'm excited for where the year's headed and looking forward to some of these next few weeks.
Yeah, Justin, you talk about your disappointment yesterday. I think the biggest disappointment had to be for you. You don't even know what kind of car you had because it was lap 3 when you had to try to avoid Austin Dillon spinning, got into the wall, and your day was long after that. How frustrating was that to know you never even really got a chance to get started?
Well, I think the probably the most frustrating part of it is that our teammates, William Byron, Elliott Sadler, and Michael Annette, all three had great race cars on Saturday. And so you look and you say, okay, well, law of averages says that we would have at least been somewhere close, right? And just knowing where their cars were at and setup-wise and all that. So, you know, to go to lap 3, to not get anything more after that is really a bummer because you look at how fast we made the car, even as damaged as it was. Mm-hmm. You know, and you go, man, what could have been, right? But at the end of the day, that's what the sport's all about. You know, the new 5-minute clock on crash damage, you know, that's something that we probably could have. I actually screwed up, and you know, I misunderstood the rule a little bit, and so we didn't quite get some changes done that we needed to get done under one of the cautions. And there's a lot of things that you look at and you say, okay, well, we've at least learned a lot over the course of the day. And we're in good shape moving forward. It's just disappointing to ride around for that many miles knowing that you really are not racing for anything or anybody.
Yeah. Justin, you've had 2 races, and unfortunately we've talked about 2 30th place finishes, but both races presented your team an opportunity to deal with a couple of the new rules. We've had the stage rules as well as being able to fix the car on pit road. What are the adjustments you've had to make in these 2 races to compensate with those 5-minute rules and the stages?
Well, I think the stages, you know, Daytona, Talladega are going to be the biggest challenge. We've seen it already. I think it's only going to get more amped up as we learn what goes on and how these stages are working. But you know, what we're seeing right now is the aggression level, the amount of push that people are you know, kind of portraying is pretty incredible when it comes to these stages. You know, our crash at Daytona was lap 29. You know, the first stage was on lap 30. That gives you an idea of where things were at there. You know, in Atlanta, it was kind of similar. You know, especially in the Cup race with you guys, there was a lot of pit strategy that was playing out before the stages were coming into action. You know, so there's a lot that you're having to learn and understand. Okay, what's best right now? Do I need the points? Do I need the tires? Do I need fuel? You know, where do I want to position myself? Who am I racing around? You know, that's probably more of it too for us in the Xfinity Series. We've got a lot of rookies this year. We've got a lot of guys with less experience, and so you're trying to anticipate what they're going to do or how they're going to race. And that's probably the hardest part right now, until you build that catalog or database of who does what and how they do it, kind of getting an idea of where everybody's at. But then when it comes to the crash damage, unfortunately, we've had to deal with that at both places. Daytona, I apologized to my guys, and I said, guys, if we had 50 years, I'm not sure that we could fix this car at the racetrack. So that was disappointing. But then in Atlanta, one of the things that I misunderstood was, we crashed and came in and got the car fixed up and went back out and reached minimum speed. I thought that the clock automatically reset if we came back down pit road and worked on the crash damage again. And what it is once you've crashed and you've reached minimum speed again, your clock is open, right? So once you turn the 5-minute clock off, it's off until you crash again. So that's where I was confused and put myself and my crew behind the 8-ball, because I didn't want to overload that 5-minute clock by making the change that we were going to make and then not make it back out. By the time we got clarification on the rule, we were one to go, and it was too late to try and make the change that we needed to make to the car, which, ultimately we ended up having to pit very early on each run because the right front tires were coming apart due to the damage. Mm-hmm. So, we not only did we have an issue with the car and the driving of the car, but then I was having to pit halfway through a segment and, give up another lap or 2 laps, under green. And so everything compounded over the course of the day and just put us further and further behind the 8-ball.
All right, well, I have a anniversary present for you. You celebrated your 11th anniversary, I believe, this last weekend.
Yeah, congratulations.
I do have some good news. You get to go to Las Vegas now. 6 times you've been to Las Vegas in the past with only one finish outside the top 10. That has to be exciting for you.
It is. I mean, Vegas has been a racetrack that the very first time I went, it just felt comfortable, and we ran well there. And I remember it's where I led my first laps in the Xfinity Series. It's just one of those places that you just feel good at, which is funny because there's a lot of drivers that are the exact opposite. That's a racetrack that they don't like when they go there for the first time, and they have to kind of learn to enjoy it. So for me, that's been a plus. It's been a cool place, and it is Las Vegas. We have great fans out in Las Vegas. It's always fun to go out there and experience Vegas. It is a very different lifestyle, very different culture out there. So to be out there and to be able to race out there and kind of be, we look at this first 5. You really, obviously we're not doing this right now, but you really want to come out of this first 5 as strong as you can. You want to get the first 5 in and really feel like you've done what you needed to get done. And unfortunately, we've not started that off well, but we're hoping to turn that around in Vegas and be able to put ourselves in position for those next 3 and make that West Coast swing fun.
Yeah, and I think you will. And here's the beauty of the new playoff system. You get a win, you're in. You forget about the first 2 races and you move on. And I think Justin's got a great chance at doing that, Joey. I think he be strong here at Vegas and turn it all around, which, a few years ago you couldn't do.
Yep, congratulations on your 11th anniversary and good luck in Vegas here, Justin. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, man, thank you guys both. Appreciate you letting me come on. And, Joey, I was wondering if, since yesterday, if you were going to need a replacement for today. I didn't know if maybe I was going to have to.
Well, I got a replacement. See, I've got a replacement next, but it's next to me. We got rid of Woody for a day as he's on, like he saw, special assignment. So we got Tony Rizzuti sitting beside me, so he's our replacement today.
Well, I didn't know if you needed one. I mean, that would be kind of weird, though. That would be like double replacement. I'm not sure that works. It'd be like
it's like a double switch.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Cool, Justin. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
There he is, Justin Allgaier. Yeah, tough start to the year, but I mean, look, Dale Jr.'s put so much into these teams. 5 cars now at Junior Motorsports, so they're going to. That sharing of the information seems to work. As he said yesterday, all the cars were fast. He qualified 16th. But just never got a chance to show it. So, again, 5 years ago, you start out 30th. It's already a long year, but but with the playoff now, he's just one win away from it all being settled.
And the one thing that makes him happy is that Junior Motorsports as a company has speed.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something that transitions to all 5 teams.
All right, we got to take our first break here on Motorsports Monday. We come back, we'll talk about the Folds of Honor 500 from Atlanta. Find out how long does it take Joey to get from the roof to victory lane, get one of these trophies. We'll find out when we come back.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo! I want that onion to bloom and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice. And I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse. That's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse. Blooming great!
Martinsville, the original NASCAR battlefield, celebrates 70 years. Sunday, April 2nd, with the STP 500. New challengers Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney square off against Martinsville Masters. 5-time winner Denny Hamlin, 9 times master Jimmy Johnson, and Earnhardt is back at his favorite track. Martinsville Speedway, Sunday afternoon, April the 2nd. For tickets, call 877-RACE-TICKS.
Here comes the field off turn number 4, looking for the white flag. It's in the air. 1 lap to go to settle things in Atlanta, the leaders in turn 1.
Ben Rhodes back in the 4th spot. Top 4 drivers break away for the concentrated efforts on Christopher Bell. 3 truck lengths to the good, down to the bottom yellow line for the final time. Off turn 4, Christopher Bell sets sail for victory lane for Kyle Busch Motorsports.
Matt Crafton has one final shot to do it. Will not be able to. Checkered flag is up. Christopher Bell wins at Atlanta.
Welcome back to Motorsports Monday. Kurt Becker, Buddy Long, and Mike Bagley on the call. Saturday night with the Truck Series race at Atlanta. Christopher Bell winning Stage 1, winning Stage 2, and winning the race. That's a clean sweep right there.
And that's also the trivia answer for the first question of who was the first driver to win all 3 stages and the race win. So Christopher Bell, kudos to you.
How many people do you think had that at the beginning of the season?
No, nobody.
Probably Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch was the answer to every question until the season got going, and then he came to his own fate with a little bit of another tire issue.
Yeah, but don't feel too bad for Kyle Busch, because he went on to win the race late in the Xfinity race at Atlanta, and then you guys, Brad Keselowski, Joey Meier, going to victory lane in the Cup race. So, I mean, in the spirit of an Oprah show, you know, you're a winner, you're a winner, you're a winner. You out there are a winner, because it's a bloomin' Monday. Kevin Harvick, Happy Harvick with a top 10 in the ATL. That means free bloomin' onion at Outback Steakhouse.
Celebrate his 20th time leading the most laps
Yep.
and not coming home to victory lane, but you still get a free blooming onion.
I know you were watching that orange number 2 car, but you see where Harvick ended up 9th. He restarted 14th, but not just 14th. He was at the tail end of the line. He had to have passed 20 cars to get to 9th.
Yeah, minimal time. Very, very fast car. The top 3 speed cars were the 4 of Harvick, the 24 of Chase Elliott, and Brad Keselowski in the number 2, and it ended up working out that here we are in victory lane.
Speaking of Kez, while you're making your way from the roof, and I want to find out how long that took in a second, while you were making your way down, Brad talked to everybody in victory lane.
A lot of adversity today, but you guys had a fast car. How were you able to keep bouncing back all afternoon?
You know, we just stayed on top of it, and we were back to 14th, I think, with 70 to go, and knew that wasn't going to be easy, but, you know, you can sit and complain about it, or you can go to work, and we went to work and got everything we could get, and gosh, the adversity and being able to overcome it to win makes it that much cooler and that much sweeter.
And that final battle with Kyle Larson was incredible. Tell me about that.
You know, Kyle is a heck of a race car driver, and the opportunities opened up. I think my car was just a little bit better than him, and I was able to take advantage of it, find a lane where my car worked, and get by him.
Now we go on the Western Swing, where you guys have been good in the past. Tell me about heading out there. A lot of good tracks.
Yes, we love the West Coast. It's been really good to us. We need to get a win at Phoenix, but we've won at Las Vegas last year. We won at California year before last, so hopefully we can pick up another one over there. Believe me, we're not going to be happy with just one win this season.
So a new nickname for Woody. He's now Mr. Everybody.
That's it.
Yeah, he spoke to everybody.
Everybody. He spoke to everybody. But the world as we know it is upside down because Kyle Larson, who's notoriously running against the wall, was running on the bottom. Brad Keselowski, who's notoriously Mr. Catfish, bottom feeder, was passing him on the high line. So the world as we know it is upside down at Atlanta Motor Speedway. But that's what that place offers by the pavement job that they have.
Joey, did you guys talk about that at all on the radio, about lanes on that restart with Kyle Larson? Because from a television side, both Jeff Gordon and Darrell Waltrip were amazed knowing how that race had run, where the bottom really was the only place you could get grip unless you had a really good run on somebody, that Kyle would go high. Now, Kyle said, I've raced with Brad a lot. I know he's good up high. I needed to go up there. And Brad went, did you guys talk at all about where to go, or was that Brad just making it happen?
No, that was Brad. That was on Brad right there. We towards the end of the race, we'd run enough laps. He knew where he was fast. I do give him lap times throughout the event. So he knew when he went up there he had speed. He knew he had speed on the bottom for a number of laps. But realistically on that restart, the bottom lane is the place to be, and you can get a good run on the bottom. And if you're on the outside lane and you can clear the guy, you want to get up as high as you can. So those are your two options. But that middle lane really gets stagnant down the front and again bottles up going into one. And if you can clear and get around that either on the bottom or top, it gives you a good set sail off of turn 2.
You know, Joey, at some point in time, I'm going to believe in your team. Because it seems like anytime you have adversity, I don't even think, I write you off every time, but if there's one team in that garage area that seems to be able to not panic, stay with the plan and get back in the race, it's your guys. Is that something it's Brad, it's Paul, is it a combination, or is it from the captain Roger Penske on down? Because even Joey's team, it seems like at time, Joey Logano's team, there seems to be a Penske thing that you just never quit.
Well, it definitely starts at the top, the calmness, the level that Roger Penske gives us, and Paul exudes from beyond, and then Brad not being able to blow up on the radio, and even maybe a small portion of myself being very calm on the radio with Brad and Paul. I believe it all contributes to never forgetting what your goal is and reaching forward. You're always reaching forward. You're not trying to worry about what's behind you. We did have a tire issue early on that caught us off sequence. We had to pit early. And ironically, 5, 6, 7, 8 laps later, a lot of other guys caught onto it, and we cycled back around to being the leader, 10 seconds ahead of Kevin Harvick.
Yeah.
He was able to run us down, but it was really an off-sequence pitting that allowed us to get back on the train and then caught back up to 5th or 6th there under the stage, and then had to battle back from a crew member being honest enough and saying, I didn't get the lug nuts tight.
Yeah.
Immediately after pit stops, they go back behind, watch video, they raise their hand and go, hey, we have a problem. So we weren't penalized, which was a small benefit because all the wave arounds were able to line up behind us. We weren't at the tail end of the longest line. And then Paul called Brad down pit road, put the lug nuts back on the left rear tire, and he was able to come back to the front.
It wasn't just your team that had some problems during the race. We saw 3 Chevrolet teams with either an alternator or battery problem. McMurray, I think, changed twice. Then you had the 31 and Newman go behind the wall, and then what happened with Austin Dillon at the end that set up the final. Why do you think we're starting to see this? Is this people trying some different things? I mean, there was talk about the RCR cars maybe mounting their batteries somewhere different to change the center of gravity, but why do you think we're seeing? We saw it at Daytona too a little bit.
You know, whenever we're trying to move forward, sometimes we take step backs inadvertently. Electronically, if we can find an alternator that produces a little more power or maybe has a little less load, we're going to try it. It is the second race of the year, but we also saw numerous speeding penalties, 13 with 11 different drivers. Guys are always trying to push the envelope. That's what we're doing as racers. If my envelope can be pushed a little bit further than yours, I'm going to beat you. But by pushing and pushing, eventually my envelope pops. And there you are with your nice solid envelope when you win the race. So we're always pushing on the envelopes, and that's exactly what these race teams are doing.
I had some people reach out to me, why don't they have a speedometer now? If you're going to a digital dash, why not having a speedometer that comes on pit road? Would it make a difference?
You know, the RPM gauge is actually more accurate because it's a direct connection from the engine to the transmission to the rear end to the rear tires. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It actually reads a more sensitive device, a more precise amount of information. When we're reading single-digit revolutions per minute, we can actually measure speed in tenths of a mile an hour inside the race car. You can't do that in your street car with your speedometer.
Just people pushing.
That's it.
You got to push at this level, man. So competitive. I said I'd ask the question. We find it. This is what you get on Motorsports Monday.
And trophies and hardware.
Yeah, show off. All right, let's take another break. When we come back, on track, off track. It's one of my favorite segments. That's coming up next on Motorsports Monday.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the Barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo! I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
You're smart, got your own trucking business, making it happen. What if I told you there was a place online where you could connect with other smart owner-operators just like you? It's an online community called Team Run Smart, where people share advice on truck maintenance, fuel savings, healthy habits on the road, and so much more, all to make your business more profitable. And it's all free. Visit teamrunsmart.com today to check it out. You'll be glad you did. teamrunsmart.com, brought to you by Freightliner Trucks.
I'm Steve Post, co-host of MRN's Wing Nation. Join Aaron Evernham and me every Tuesday at noon Eastern on MRN.com and on the MRN app. And join Ashley Strummy and me on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Eastern on MAV TV. We talk to the biggest names in sprint cars and give you the latest news and race results from dirt tracks around the country. MRN's Wing Nation on MRN.com, the MRN app, and MAV TV.
Hi, this is Austin Dillon. Now back to MRN Motorsports Monday.
By the way, Austin Dillon's crew chief Slugger Labby joined us in the booth for the Truck Series race from Atlanta, and he'll join me and Kid Cruz on Wednesday on MRN Crew Call, so you want to stay tuned for that. It's now time for at least my favorite segment when I'm watching the show. It's On Track, Off Track here on Motorsports Monday, presented by Outback Steakhouse, and we're going to start with the guy who brought the toys today, Joey Meier. On track, off track. What do you have for on today?
On today is the simple, fantastic racing that Atlanta Motor Speedway puts on because of the aged pavement. We've heard a lot of hoopla and everybody talking about generating repaving Atlanta to try to fix some problems we'll talk about in off tracks, so stay tuned here for a couple minutes. But right now, Atlanta, California are the two tracks that come to mind with that aged paving. Produces all the way from the bottom, all the way to top racing. A lot of the drivers are clamoring not to repave Atlanta, including Truck Series champion Matt Crafton. Here's what he had to say.
We were very good, but we said we just weren't quite as good as what he was. And the second run, we just got off and we lost a lot of track position right there. And the pit crew did a great job. But if anybody's listening to us, Atlanta Motor Speedway, please don't repave this place.
And that's a sentiment joined by over 50 drivers in the garage between the Cup Series, Truck Series, and Xfinity Series. Don't repave Atlanta.
Yeah, and I think Marcus Smith, the president of Speedway Motorsports, came out and said maybe we do need to wait on this. My on track has to do with two drivers. Brad Keselowski and that entire Penske team for not giving up. I continue to write you guys off, and you always find a way to win. My other one, Kevin Harvick, for owning up for making a mistake and saying, I didn't live up to what I preach daily, which is let's not lose it on pit road. He's constantly on his guys about screwing up on pit road. Yesterday he said, that one's on me, I messed up. I think that's going to give him a better understanding now of how to win as a team, and that'll only make that team better. Now, as far as my off track, Joey, it's angry NASCAR fan. So yesterday I'm monitoring social media, and anytime somebody has an issue with our app or our website, the emails come to me. And I'm looking at them, and people would say things like this. Your app is the worst app ever. It's never, ever worked. Or we don't have the race.
Right.
And then I tell them, we didn't have the race that week. We'll get it back at Phoenix. Oh, your app's the best. Yeah. Well, this is the worst thing ever, the best. They said the same thing about the racing. I had people emailing us going, this is the worst Atlanta race ever. You guys have ruined it with the stages, we being NASCAR, like I control the rules. Yeah. This is the worst race ever. Joey, that was every Atlanta race ever going back to the original oval configuration. Mm-hmm. If you're a true fan of NASCAR and you've been watching forever, every Atlanta race is the same. It's strung out, but the drivers are slipping and sliding, so there's fun stuff to watch out on the racetrack. Then they're going to bunch up late for a caution and have a fantastic finish. That's every race ever there, but the fans just want to be angry. It's almost like if they were to complain about another sport, like there should only be 2 downs in football, you're ruining it. Like, nobody else does that. They complain about the driver, the players, or the coaches, but not the sport. But in ours, it's always the sport. It's driving me crazy.
Well, their memories are faded, and they're wrong to begin with, because their memories, we aren't 4 and 5 wide upside down on fire at every finish back in the 50s and 60s. It simply didn't happen. Back then, drivers won races by 4 and 5 laps over second place cars. And people want to talk about and herald back to those races. We had a really good event at Atlanta Motor Speedway. If you watched the race, you saw cars sliding around the corner at 190 miles an hour, top to bottom and anywhere in between. There was a lot of physical racing going on for the entire event. Hopefully Atlanta Motor Speedway stays that way.
Yeah, again, I thought the racing was as good as you're going to get at Atlanta. I think the stages added strategy. Yep. It made it more interesting. Look, without the stages, we could have gone to lap 200 and something before we saw a caution. Yep. That wouldn't have been good.
Yep. My off track, don't pave Atlanta. Don't pave Atlanta. Don't, listen to me, don't pave it. We're paving it for one reason and one reason only. We're trying to fix a problem when it rains, and it doesn't rain every day of every year. So we're solving a problem that might happen to get rid of a problem that's going to happen. We're going to create another problem. Don't worry about the rain. We get it. We're accepting the rain problems when it rains with weepers to keep the racing surface the way it was. Drivers like it, crews like it, TV likes it, the fans in the stands love it. Don't repave Atlanta.
Hey, let me ask you real quick, Joey, because you've been around the sport a long time. Why can't we put a sealer on it like they used to at Richmond? Do you know how that would affect it in the rain? Do sealers tend to weep a little bit more, or rather than repaving the thing, just put a sealer over it?
Well, we used to seal Richmond, and then it wore out during the race, and I think that wasn't the direction they wanted to go. I do know there's different aggregate that teams are still, or asphalt companies are working on, but until they find that perfect solution, just simply don't repave it.
All right, we're going to make our final pit stop of the afternoon. We come back, we will wrap up this edition of Motorsports Monday.
I'm not blooming good, I'm blooming great. Put a shrimp on the barbie and sizzle my steak. Woo, I want that onion to bloom, and it get in my senses like a sonic boom. No rules, just right. So bold, so nice, and I'm so ready for that Outback steak tonight. Outback Steakhouse, that's what it's all about. Outback Steakhouse, blooming great.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcasts elevates your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
Danica Patrick to the front of the field at Talladega. They are side by side behind her. Jimmy Johnson.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
Ever wish your kid came with an instruction manual? I'm behavioral therapist James Lehman, and I'll show you how to change your child's behavior now with the Total Transformation, the program that helps stop defiance, backtalking, lying, acting out in school, even problems with ADD and ADHD. There's no screaming, no fighting, no frustration. Your child will listen to you again. I guarantee it.
Change your child's behavior now with the Total Transformation. Call now. 1-800-406-2945. 1-800-406-2945.
Hey, this is Joey Logano, and you're listening to MRN Motorsports Monday.
Alongside two-spotter Joey Meier, I'm Tony Rizzuti. I've been teasing this the whole time, Joey. How long did it take you to get from the roof to victory lane? Were you able to get any beer?
Yeah, well, of course I had to fly home.
Beer.
Had to fly home, so no beer, just Dasani water for myself. But one of the unique things at Atlanta Motor Speedway was the old school throwback victory lane.
Yeah, I love that.
Formed right on the front stretch. The fans were, the gates were open, the fans went out, and I walked amongst the fans, came downstairs, got across the stands before any of the pictures were taken, and we were able to celebrate as a team. So a great victory for Team Penske. Joey Logano came over, Ryan Blaney came over, all those guys were congratulating us as a company, so it was really cool.
Nothing better than victory lane. All right, we head out west now for the West Coast String. You're going to be flying out. What kind of flight is that for you guys?
We do about a 4.5-hour flight. We'll go one stop to Las Vegas. Brad Keselowski is in the car for Vegas, and then Ryan Blaney is going to run Phoenix, and I'm not quite sure about California. But 3 West Coast races. We've run really good. We've had the potential to win all 3 races in both series, so we're looking forward to it.
We've had 2 races now where the stages have been in place. Have we learned any strategy? Have we learned anything more on how these might play out west?
What we've learned is there's different strategies.
Yeah.
In other words, there's not just one base strategy that we had in the truck series with that 20-minute clock. We've seen 2 different races with 3 different series, so 6 total races with 8 different stages, 10 different stages, and every one of them has different philosophies. So as we move forward, we can expect to see different things.
I haven't seen the odds yet at the Vegas casinos, but I got to think Brad Keselowski the favorite going into the Las Vegas race.
I think we've had 2 of the last
Yeah.
3 years we've won there. It's a great track for him. Again, a place you can slip and slide around, moving top to bottom, a mile and a half. It's not your standard mile and a half. It hasn't been repaved in a while. Moving top to bottom, we look forward to going there.
This has been a lot of fun. Thanks for letting me drive today.
Woody says hello.
Yeah, very nice. Woody will be back next week. Don't forget, go get your Bloomin' Onion.
Bloomin'
They're free.
Onion, yes.
Why wouldn't you get a free Bloomin' Onion?
Free.
A lot of fun. Also, if you want to reach out to us, give us your feedback, you can call our phone number. It is 1-844-4ASK-MRN. We always love to hear your responses. For winner Joey Meier, I'm Tony Rizzuti. Thanks for joining us on this week's Motorsports Monday.
MRN Motorsports Monday is presented by Outback Steakhouse. Tune in every Monday for another exciting episode right here on MRN.com. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. MRN Motorsports Monday is also available on demand in MRN.com's Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, and in iTunes or the Google Play Store. MRN Motorsports Monday is a production of the Motor Racing Network.